Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Prime Time Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by these two great guys, the real deal, Chris Cormier.
Suited and booted today, baby.
Suited and booted.
Suited and
booted. Looking dapper, my friend. Tarek Gilgindi, how's it going?
I love the fact that we are in dark colors. We look very credible. But I got to tell you, Tim, out of all of us, you're the one that's really killing it with your suit and your tie. I'm jealous of your style.
When you spend tens of dollars, you expect the very best.
It looks incredible. I think even Chris is inspired.
I am inspired. No tie today, but I'm inspired.
You know, Chris, I'll show you how to shop on a budget.
Okay, show me. I need that.
Because I think for the price of one of your pairs of shoes, I could probably put you in a fit for about a month on my clothes.
Okay. I'm down with that.
So, guys, the big shows, and there are a few that are just the big marquee shows, the Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro, Tampa, Chicago, Detroit, those big shows, Vancouver, those shows are stepping up prize money. They're doing it with the whole industry's coming up. But the cool thing is, the turnout is just getting bigger and better and bigger and better at these big shows. And the Pittsburgh Pro is shaping up to be a beast.
Crazy. You're going to see some Mr. Olympia winners there. It's going to be like an all-star lineup. New York Pro champions there, multiple times there. The Boogeyman is coming out of a layover of competition.
Blessing Awadibu, we haven't seen in a couple years.
Yes, he's trying to get his legs bigger, his body. He's trying to come back with a different package, so we can't wait to see him up there. It's going to be great. I love the festival. I like they're bringing in the expo in conjunction with the show. I love that idea. And hopefully, it'll be the start of a new era in Pittsburgh and a legacy in Pittsburgh.
I'm super excited. First of all, I love the city. I love Pittsburgh. I love the river. It's a beautiful city. Downtown is one of the cities in America that's underrated, right? I love Pittsburgh. A lot of people think of Pennsylvania. They go to Philadelphia, but Pittsburgh is one of the most beautiful cities we have in America. It's also the headquarters of the NPC and the IFBB Pro League. It's been there since 1984. So it's a very special place for all of us judges, for all of us that have been involved in the industry, right?
Right.
We go to Pittsburgh in February. We have a seminar with the judges. We all talk about criteria and this and that. And then you have the Pittsburgh Pro. This time, there's a big bodybuilding show. And all the bodybuilders, they want to go in front of Jim and say, Jim, I'm one of the best bodybuilders in the world. Jim doesn't judge anymore, right? He was a judge for 30 years. He's the president of our organization. But a lot of them want to go there and say, Jim, I'm the guy. I'm the best in the world, right? So you have the guest posing, and a lot of people have made their names in their guest posing, right? Derek Lunsford, he went up there and said, guys, what do you think? And the whole world said, you got to go to the Open. And a lot of people go there because they know all eyes are going to be there. The difference is right now there's a lot of money on the table, and it's a pro show, and there's going to be one guy that's the first winner, right? It's the first winner. You never forget the first winner of a great show. Larry Scott, Mr. Olympia, Rich Gaspari, Arnold Classic. I think we are never going to forget the winner of the Pittsburgh Pro Bodybuilding. If you are Derek Lunsford, Nick Walker, if you're Samson, if you're Hottie, whoever you are out there, I would pop in there and shock the world. And then give Jim Mannion a big hug on stage, get that beautiful Prada suit dirty. I know he'll love that.
I'm going to add one more thing, Chris, before we turn that over to you with being that first. One thing, J.M. Mannion was showing me pictures of the new headquarters. And, the East Coast Mecca, the West Coast Mecca is gold. The East Coast Mecca is Bev's gym. It is probably the Mecca. Now, it should almost be a museum. It's just a testament to the history of bodybuilding.
So, yeah, it's interesting because I get, letters, I get my pro card, I get all the stuff from Pittsburgh. And it is, you Canton, Ohio, right? You associate with the NFL, and I think all of us associate Pittsburgh with the headquarters of bodybuilding. And when you go there, when you go to the gym, it's one of the coolest feelings, because one time I went there and Jim was there and Gary Udit was there, and all of us, about 10 of us, were looking at this competitor. I think he was an NPC competitor, and he came in there to just pose. And all of us are sitting there looking at him, helping with the posing. It's almost like an incredible experience to go there as an athlete, right? And when we're in there in the gym talking, we all feel at home, right? I love going there. I'm super excited to be part of it. And I know it's going to be an incredible event. I think Tyler he really wants to make this big. He's really focused on the expo. The show is there. It's been there, right? They got the A-team. The structure is there. But now the expectation is for the expo. And I think Tyler says, you know what? I'm going to make this huge. And I'm with him on the phone, and he's like, Tarek, I'm going to make this massive. And trust me, he's a bit wrestling crazy. He's going to make this incredible.
Yes, I mean, when you go to Pittsburgh, you see the night lights. I like the city lights at night, overlooking the river and the stadium there. The food, the restaurants, all these things are so immaculate there. And the Capitol Grill, which is like the staple of the city. The Manions go there. But you always want to get in front of Jim and pose. Tyler now also. And you want the acknowledgement of like, yes, I'm one of the top guys in the sport, or the top girls in the sport. That's what you want to do, because I know growing up, I always wanted that acknowledgement from Jim, or him give me the nod, like, you're on the right track, keep doing what you're doing, type of thing.
Being accepted, and this is such a sport about respect, and that respect is earned through your efforts, through your successes, through your gains and your improvements. That's where the deepest respect is. And then you go where you want the blessings, and you want to go to Jim, and you want to have Jake. You want to have the guys at the top. Steve, you want to go to Steve Weinberger's gym, and get blessed by Big Steve saying, all right, I see the work, I see the effort.
I used to grab Steve at some of these shows. Steve, check me out. He's like, he just got to use it in the bathroom. I'm in the stalls.
Chris, could you let me just put it away?
Take a look at me, Steve.
No, Chris.
You bring up a good point. All of us judges, we have a boss. Jim Anion is our boss. He's the boss of all the judges, and ultimately we need to answer to him. And Tim, you're right. You want to make sure that whoever is above you in the chain likes what you do, right? They like what you do. And Jim will tell you if you're doing great, and he'll also tell you if you're not doing great, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate that he said, Tarek, you're on the right path. Thank you for traveling. Keep your eyes here. Make sure this is taken care of, and this and that. So as a man, you want to have direction. And Jim has been great in the direction of the judges. We've expanded exponentially all over the world. And I give him a lot of credit. He's kept the right people around him, and I'm happy to be one of them.
I got to say, and you went through this with both Jim and Joe Weider. My first year doing the Masters Olympia, I walked around the corner, headed to the stage for prejudge, and Jim is sitting in a bar stool. And he just kind of looks up, sees me, and it didn't hit him right away because you're painted dark. And he looked up, are you competing? And he got off the bar stool, shook my hand, and said, respect. Have fun up there. I went, that's it. Let's go home. I don't want to see where I placed. I just placed. Jim just said respect. I'm done.
He's got a great memory. He knows everybody. And, I always remember when my mom passed, he came to California, and we were not as close as we are right now. And I extended my hand, and he kind of moved my hand away and gave me a big hug. When I went to judge one of the first shows, the first pro league show outside of United States was in Tunisia. My wife was pregnant. She gave birth in March. I was in Tunisia in January. We were fighting against the other organization and this and that. The show ends and somebody brings a phone and it's Jim. He wants to talk to me to make sure everything is okay. I've been judging the Olympia for the last 5 years. It's a huge honor, and I'm very grateful he's giving me the opportunity.
It's funny how Jim can find you anywhere in the world. I remember I was in Holland for some time, and I was there, and he called me on the phone at the gym. Because there was no cell phone back then, so he called the gym's phone, and he was like, Jim's on the phone. He was telling me something. I forgot exactly, but I think he was reprimanding me about something I said or something happened. But anyway, but Jim has been a friend of mine for a very long time, and I'm just happy to see that the embassy worldwide and what they're doing in Pittsburgh with the Pittsburgh Pro is expanding and everything's going as it should. And he gave me one of those calls too. Like I lost my father during COVID, and he and Tyler, JM, they all called me and wished me well and sent me flowers for the funeral and everything. So it always meant a lot to me, that whole family. So it's great to see the whole thing coming in full circle.
Well, coming up May 10th and 11th, the Pittsburgh Power and Fitness Festival, the Pittsburgh Pro. It's going to be a boomer. And not just in an old guy calling him out, kind of, hey, boomer, that's not cool. It's going to be a big show with an amazing lineup. You're not going to want to miss it. And if you can't be there, I won't say that their life is over or ruined, but I will say
miserable.
Miserable.
Like, if you didn't go to the New York Pro this past year,
You'd be swimming with the fishes.
I mean, your life was miserable. You missed one of the best shows, Nick Walker versus Martin Fitzwater. There's the cue.
There's the cue. We're going to talk about that rivalry. That rivalry lives. And we'll talk about that when we come back on Primetime Muscle. Nice segue.
Ah.
And we're back. All right, you see behind me on the graphic the rivalry between Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater. It got pretty heated at the New York Pro last year. We're going to look at that in just a minute. Guys, these two are quite the matchup.
Oh, man, they went at it in New York, and it was the New York Pro, and a lot of people was riding high on Nick retaining his title, but a lot of people saw the newcomer to the scene as Martin Fitzwater as an up-and-coming, possibility of overtaking Nick. And, it was close enough. It was, what type of point differential was it?
1 point decision.
One point decision.
We go ahead.
And no, I was going to just say, a lot of people was going on Martin's side. Obviously he got a few votes on his favor. And Nick held on at the end there, came away victorious, but I think there's going to be a chip on his shoulder for each of them to want to knock it off. You want to rock off my shoulder? Oh, you started a fight. That type of thing. But they each want to.
Kai Green's ponytail.
They each don't want to. I bet you they both think that they're better than the other ones to this day. And Nick, he was coming back from an injury. So that was his first show back, and I think he's probably more fully recovered now than he was back then.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I did a live with Martin Fitzwater, and he straight up said, Tarek, I still think I won that show. And let me tell you, I know Nick Walker, okay? He's a 300-pound muscle machine. And he's not very thrilled by some of these words that Martin Fitzwater is saying, oh, I feel like I won this show. Nick Walker wants to come back and beat Martin Fitzwater and then shake his hands afterwards and say, I did it again. Can we do the Britney Spears, I did it again? So that's what Nick Walker wants to do. Between prejudging and finals, Nick possibly wasn't expecting that it was going to be this close, right? So then there was a little bit of talk that Martin could have won. Our best friend, Bob Ciccarello, a.k.a. the most self-centered man in America, had Martin winning the show. He had Martin winning the show. And Nick Walker apparently saw us interviewing Bob. He was pissed. He's like, oh, yeah? You think so? So Nick was a little bit taken that people thought that Martin was going to win. And then when Shannon Day announced that Nick Walker won the show, Chris has the best impersonation. Go.
What? Of what?
This is my house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, he was pretty excited. He was just like, this is my house. This is my house. Go ahead.
And then that was, Tim, that was a response. That was a response to all the people thinking that Martin was going to win, including Bob Ciccarello and Martin Fitzwater. This is my house. Don't ever question me again. Now, we were ready to see a rematch at the Olympia, but Nick couldn't be there. Martin went in there and shocked the world. You can't hear the end of it. Bob Ciccarello is like, oh, God, now is my time. Go ahead and do a Bob impersonation.
Bro, this is my time. This is when I say the words.
I told you so.
So here's an interesting factor. So whenever anybody posts a picture and everybody goes, dude, he's amazing. My first thought is, let's see him next to the top 3, 5, 7, and 10 and see how amazing he is, not by himself in the LA Fitness bathroom. The next level is, so I think Martin improved as the year went on. Mind you, when he won the next week, was it Detroit?
Prague.
When he
Prague.
won? No.
He won Detroit,
He won Detroit.
then
and
New
then
York, Olympia, and Prague.
Yeah, so Detroit was when he qualified, I believe, Martin. But that was without Nick.
Yeah, but he dropped the hammer at the Olympia, and he's, to myself, is the most improved competitor this year, and also I would give him the most outstanding newcomer to the Olympia stage, Martin Fitzwater,
In a while.
Now,
Andrew Jack was one of my favorites newcomers a while back as well. But what I'm saying is, Andrew's been on an upward trajectory. Nick came back from the injury at New York Pro, reestablished, yo, I'm Nick, I'm back, don't F with me. Here we are. Now, Olympia, Nick had his trouble, and Martin was on the up. So I'm wondering if Martin has dialed in. I've seen the Nick updates. He looks amazing. He looks massive. Like big. Yeah.
in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see at the Pittsburgh Pro. That's going to be the deciding factor. Whoever places in front of them. Now, there's other guys coming up. But at the Pittsburgh Pro, it's going to be a defining moment. Who is going to be the last man standing in this rivalry? There is a rivalry between Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater. Nick Walker beat Martin Fitzwater in New York, and he's going to Pittsburgh after exploding at the Olympia. Nick Walker did not like the speculation or the words being said by Martin Fitzwater saying, I still think I won this show. Let's see what the response is. I'm excited because I think it's going to be a brawl, and those guys are really great bodybuilders.
I think we're going to have a good top 7 to top 10 of the best bodybuilders in the world in Pittsburgh.
What's going to be interesting is who still needs to qualify at that point of the top 5 or top 7, who outside of the top 3, that 4 through 8, that's going to be battling show after show until they get that card to get to the O.
Let's take a look at the Olympia champions already qualified. Brandon Curry, Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chupa, and Samson Dauda. Romania Muscle Fest winner, Rafael Brandão. Prague show winner, Martin Fitzwater. Nobody needs a qualification more than Nick Walker, especially after missing the last 2 Olympias. Nick Walker is going all out this year to earn his qualification and tell the world, you thought I was gone, I never left.
Yes, I think it's going to be that great of a show. And, I mean, competitors going to come vying for that title. And I feel like this is going to be, I mean, they got the Arnold Classic first, but this right here in May, is it May 10th? May 10th?
Yeah.
May 10th. And on to the New York Pro.
Well,
It's going to be something.
guys, let's try to just run through a quick list in our minds. Hunter Labrada has got to requalify. Let's see, Rafael's already up there.
Andrew Jack.
Andrew Jack.
Gudavito.
Yes.
Gavito, man, that guy is coming on
That guy
strong
is
right now.
good.
Do you see him?
Okay. Barus Tabani. Hopefully he can make it.
Visa, jeez.
Looking at some, William Bonek needs to requalify. I haven't seen James Hollinshead at the Olympia for a while. I need him to be there. I would love to see Patrick Moore. Akeem Williams is already qualified because I forgot to mention
What about
he
Mark
won in
Hector?
Spain.
Mark
Yes.
Hector also. He's coming on strong out of the UK. Hector.
Listen, I like Mark Hector. He's a good bodybuilder. But then again, just like Carlos Thomas Jr., who we all love, I don't care what you've done or how many pictures you've posted. You need to deliver on stage. So far, from
heard
the
that?
UK, there's only one name, and his name is Samson Dauda. James Hollinshead needs to come up big at this Arnold.
Nathan
Diasha, where are you? And Mark Hector, it's time for you to join the party.
Yes, I think even Nathan said he was going to be doing Pittsburgh.
That would be phenomenal because his last check-in.
I'd like to see him in America again and doing his thing. I want to see it.
There's a couple other guys that are kind of escaping me right now in that top 10 to 12 that I think have battled their way up that look.
Horse MD
Horse
is
MD.
coming. He said, I talked to him yesterday. He said, put me on the list. Nobody will have better legs than me on that stage.
Well, you can't have better legs without horse.
Ah!
Okay, Nico. Wow.
All right, you tell us what you think about I know both these guys have a ton of fans. That rivalry between Nick and Martin Fitzwater, are you Team Nick or Team Martin? You go mutant or Martian? Let us know what you think about all that. And when we come back, that Mr. Olympia from a couple years ago is just itching to get back in that top spot. We're going to talk about the edge that he has when we come back. All right, thanks again for joining us on Primetime Muscle. Tarek, I saw this topic that you brought to us, and I'm dying to know where your head is at. It is Derek Lunsford has an edge.
I'm going to tell you this. I've known Derek since he was a middleweight at the USA's. I saw him turning pro. I saw him winning Tampa. I saw him winning the 212. I saw him taking second at the Olympia and winning the Olympia. When he won the Mr. Olympia, he came to check-ins on that year different. As you know, Derek Lunsford is a very loving guy. Everybody loves him. He's a family man. There's no way you cannot love Derek Lunsford. And when he gets to check-ins, he's super nice. He shakes hands. The year that he won the Olympia, he came in and he sat down by himself and he wasn't talkative at all. I've known these guys for decades. I know them. I saw them turning pro. And I said, there's a difference here. Derek is different. Something is going on. It turns out that he won the Olympia. This past Olympia, when he lost, I saw that Derek, that was fun, loving, and maybe he felt like, okay, I'm Mr. Olympia, I need to represent. I can't beat this guy that's in my head. And I told Derek, I said, Derek, I think a Derek Lunsford with an edge, and I hate to use this word, but, a little bit angry. Michael Jordan, he had an enemy against him, right? And I talked to Derek. He goes, Derek, a third place hurt me. I'm hurting right now. And I said, Derek, good. All human beings, they feel angry at times. Use that anger to propel you, to give you the edge to become Mr. Olympia again. It's how you channel your energy. I believe, and you saw Derek Lunsford, he has an edge this year. He has an edge. And I think when he goes to check in at the Mr. Olympia, he's not going to be all smiles. He's ready to fight.
Well, so to Tarek's point, nobody has a better idea than the head counselor at Camp Cormier. What do you see going on in his head?
Well, we spoke, over the course of the last 3 years or so. We've been, we touch base here and there and see how he's doing and see what he's feeling going into shows, going into training camp. So, this time I noticed his name was called for the Arnold Classic, and when I saw that, I just checked in with him and said, "Hey, man, so how you feeling?" Because we were planning on doing something in January, and he said, this was at the Nationals. I hit him up, and he said, "Everything's going good." He said, "Can you make it out here? I know it's kind of early and not what we planned, but can you be here in 2 days?" And I was just like, "I'm at the Nationals right now. Sure, I'll make it." So I flew home less than 24 hours. I got back on a plane and went out there to Tampa and put in a cycle of body part training with him and posing, and got some good ab work, and I just wanted to see his body close up and start to analyze his physique close up and see where he needs to work, where he needs to focus. One of the major things is the posing. So we started working with the posing aggressively, trying to change his mindset behind some of the poses he does, especially, just the regular stance, just him standing there. I wanted that to be so much more improved. I would like to see the serratus and obliques, come in tighter and flexed in the front. Lats out, but not too far out to where you're telling you don't need to try to be the biggest guy on stage just by standing there in the front relaxed. You're more relaxed, but firm, and staying firm from the time you hit the curtains to the time you leave the curtains. That's going to be the goal, because I think that's going to be the difference in his physique. I know he has a lot of different habits that he does, just grabbing at his waist and being relaxed. But I wanted him to be more like Lee Labrada. Lee Labrada was like a master on the stage. He was a master with in between poses. He's off on the sideline here, waiting, still standing like a statue. That's going to be my goal for this guy. And also some of the poses, front double bicep, he was always just standing straight up. He's coming up here. I want him to open up that leg, utilize that sartorius muscle. The Cormier's is going to be dancing. I feel like if you can get more definition throughout his quads, it's going to make him appear a lot bigger than they were. The way you pose can mean a lot for the judges and the crowd.
Well, to Tarek's point, now that you've spent a little while posing and training with him, where's his head at?
He's psyched up. He wants to show that was not the Derek that he actually is. He said that he was down very flat and wasn't able to show the physique that he feel like he was able to actually have at the time. So changing those things, maybe even I'm due to go back there in another week or so, and then the last week before this next coming show, I think that's where we're going to see a difference, because he was never really usually posing as much as we're doing now. We're doing 6 and 8 rounds right now, and he's never been put through that. So if I can get him to be able to take on whatever the judge is going to throw at him, I want him to be ready mentally and physically.
When he was posing against Hadi, especially on the abdominals and thighs and most muscular, I didn't see that confidence in Derek. And I told Derek, even if you're going to lose a pose, you lose like you're brawling, like you're fighting. Ronnie Coleman lost every abdominal and thigh that he nailed next to Chris Cormier and Flex Wheeler. But he hit the pose and he let the judges know, I'm here. And I think Derek right now has to have that mentality. I'm going to kill you guys on the back double biceps. You might beat me on the abs and thighs, but here are my abs and thighs. I think Derek is going to respond. And I told him, I have seen him down. When he took 4th place as a 212, he was devastated. He came back to win. This guy with an edge is as dangerous as anyone on the Olympia stage.
I know I get a lot of trash from him about giving Mr. Olympia advice, but since you have his ear, this advice isn't necessarily coming from me. It's coming from Phil Heath, who the Friday night, the year that he took second to Hadi, the year that he got his first Olympia bid as an open, and blew everybody's mind. And that's the beauty of the Olympia. You've got to go there. You've got to watch the pay-per-view because those Martin Fitzwater and Derek Lunsford moments happen the first time you see Andrew do the splits. You've got to be a part of that because it's magic. But that night, Phil said, you think I could say something to him? I'm like, dude, you're 7-time Mr. Olympia. Go say something. He goes over and he just told him, you got to get in him. You got to want this. You got to fight for this. You can't be backing over here so you can bring yourself different and apart. You got to get up and close enough to where the judges go, I can't look away from the better delts, the better back, whatever it is that you've got to be close enough and in him enough to make them notice you.
Absolutely. There's something about being on that first call out at the Olympia. And this past year, we had Hadi, we had Samson, and we had Derek. You cannot have one moment of doubt. You have to have 100% conviction that you are the best bodybuilder and that you are dominating. Because if your mind is positioned in that manner, it alters your presentation.
Oh, easy.
Hence, it changes your performance.
Quickly,
right?
Quickly.
It's like every single one of them. I know we're going into a transitional moment. Heidi won, Samson won, Derek won. They're all going to the Olympia again, you know. But do you see Phil Heath after he won 3 or 4? Ronnie Coleman after he won 3 or 4? It was already ingrained in them that they were the kings. This is what they need to feel again.
Yeah, that first call out, like you said, you know, I had the pleasure of experiencing that in '99, and I knew in my heart that I was going to be in that first call out months before it happened. You know, I was, 6th had been my best placing up until that time, but I saw in 1998, I was like, I could have been very well 3rd. I could have been over Sean and over Kevin already. So then I went into the, Nasser. And I went into the next year like, I'm going to be top 3 no matter what. I'm in the first call-out. And then just to feel that first call-out, like Tarek said, it's a whole nother level of confidence and head high, chest out that you're going to have for the rest of the competition.
One of the reasons you have to have the muscle memory of each pose and how it should go is when that call-out happens and you're in that top 3, your instinct is to pose through your skin. I'm going to pose so hard that it's going to be better, but it's actually worse. Some of those, you need to relax an elbow or a shoulder or a hip to get things to go the right direction, but you're just going to squeeze it until it comes through your skin.
Yeah, and you also have, a whole nother, like, second wind. Like, there is no getting tired. There is no nothing but just, like, it's just floating. It's like, it's almost like heaven on earth to be in that first call-out.
The odds are that in 2025 at the Mr. Olympia, the odds are we can have somebody different. We can have Martin, we can have Nick, we can have somebody different. But the odds are that we're going to have a 2-time Mr. Olympia, either Samson, Derek, or Hadi. One of them might repeat, and whoever repeats can start their own dynasty. I think they're all young and they all can go for 3-4 years. So this is a decisive moment in the history of bodybuilding because I think this change of the guard every year is going to end in 2025.
I like it. All right. You let us know about your thoughts on the changing of the guard or the retaining of the title. As always, we thank you for joining us. And as always, we thank Global Formulas, our boy Jacob Frank over there with his team.
To be in the first call out, you gotta be a freak.
A super freak.
A super freak.
super
To be on that
freaky.
first call out, you need to have great conditioning.
Zero
You
body fat.
can't have body fat, and you gotta pay attention to your diet. Zero sugar. I want you to go right now to www.globalformulas.com. Get your Pro Zero. Vanilla is the best taste. Zero sugar, zero fat. You're gonna have abs like Tim Wilkins. And if you want to work out like a beast, Chris Cormier, you get your super freak. Back to you, Tim Wilkins.
Get your freak on.
Beautiful. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Chris Cormier.
Hey, make a comment, like it, and share.
Tarek, you've already done your job.
Great to be here. We're ready to rock. I'm fired up.
All right, everybody. Thank you as always for joining us. I'm Tim Wilkins. We'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.